as you as we talked about the introduction to this program of Lean Six Sigma Foundation, and we talked a bit about the Toyota, the Japan, the Ford Motors. We were talking about where it began and what have different organizations done in past. So in this session, which talks about the history and evolution of Lean Six Sigma, we'll discuss in detail about some of the key aspects of Lean Six Sigma. A lot of things began after World War II. After World War II, everyone is aware that Japan was destroyed when US had bombed Japan as a country. And that is when a country like Toyota, which happened in Japan, and Toyota soon started selling their cars which were better than Ford Motors. The cars were better, faster and cheaper than the Ford cars. Henry Ford was the founder of Ford Motors. He was very obsessed with color black. Ford did not make any other color car, only the black color cars they made. If you look at any movie which has a backdrop of 1960s, 70s or 40 or 30s, you will not see any other color car. It was only black, only black. That was the Henry Ford obsession with color black. But then when Toyota entered the market, they actually revolutionized the entire market because their cars were very different what the world had actually seen. So they started eating the share of Ford Motors. Toyota was making their cars better, faster, and cheaper, and they used this method of making their cars better, faster, and cheaper. And this method they called as Toyota Production System. So that was Toyota's success with making their cars better, faster, and cheaper, and they came up with a term called Lean. Since then, when Toyota started working on Lean as a method, a lot of quality pioneers have contributed heavily, and a lot of them were the Toyota industrial engineers. Kaoru Ishikawa, Joseph Zoran, who was a US guy though, W. Deming was a US guy, but Kaori Ishikawa, Shiji Oshimbo, Janichi Taguchi, they were all Toyota engineers, and they have contributed heavily in the success of making Toyota one of the greatest organizations. So that was Toyota, but that was not the last. That was just the first success in terms of Lean Six Sigma. In 1981, a Japan an engineer from Motorola, he came up with a term called Lean Six Sigma. Lean Six Sigma, as you can see in the slides here. Bill Smith was an engineer from Motorola who developed this term called Six Sigma. Now, Six Sigma as a term will talk about the measure of quality, the level of quality. While Lean as a method was focused primarily on reducing the waste in a process. Now, what is called waste and all, we'll talk later, but just to give you an understanding, waste is nothing but the bottleneck in a process. Wherein, if a process is going on a smooth line, suddenly it has to stop or it has to change its way, so the entire thing gets disturbed. That means it's not a smooth process. We also call it's not a lean process. That's where the Lean as a method focused on. But when our guy Bill Smith, which you can see in the slides here, he introduced the term called Six Sigma, he said, how do I measure the variation in a process? And how do I kill that variation or reduce that variation? That's when Motorola as a company invented the term called Six Sigma. And they started using the Six Sigma as a methodology in their own process. So you must be aware of a product that Motorola made in late 80s and 90s called Pager. The Pager where you can page someone. The Pager was a runaway success with Motorola because they were one of the first companies to use Six Sigma in their pager, and they got the ability to develop, distribute a pager within 48 to 72 hours to any part of the world. And companies were surprised, how can Motorola do that? How can they produce and distribute a pager in such a small time while they were not just able to understand how this is happening? How were they so successful with the supply chain and their own entire manufacturing? This was success of Motorola, and they were amazingly successful using Lean Six Sigma. Another company which was very fascinated with Six Sigma was Allied Signal though, but the great success or Six Sigma which became a household name in terms of corporate world, if I talk about, that came with a company called GE that you can see in the slides here. So Motorola, if it created Six Sigma, GE was a company that perfected Six Sigma. It made Six Sigma a household name in different corporate world. Everyone wanted to be a green belt or a black belt. So GE, whose CEO was Jack Welch, who was very fascinated with the success of Motorola and the Allied Signal, he decided that I want to train all my employees, all my 300,000 employees in 1995 on Lean Six Sigma methodology. There are different levels of Six Sigma that we'll talk about. But he said, I want everyone to be a Six Sigma black belt, or a green belt, or a yellow belt, different belts. And he invested heavily in that. He invested almost $45 million just on the training aspects of Lean Six Sigma. Back in 1995, I'm saying, and Six Sigma was directly related to the growth aspect, where if you're not a Six Sigma certified professional, you'll not move to the next level. So promotion and growth were attached to Lean Six Sigma. That's how he made it as a mandated program, part of a culture, a DNA. So Six Sigma was running very much into the DNA of Lean Six Sigma, and it's a point that you must notice that even in today's world, people who have worked in GE or Genpact, whichever organization you go today, so these are the people who actually made Six Sigma famous across India. Even in today's world, people who have worked in companies like GE and Genpact, they still talk about how Jack Welch ran Six Sigma in the DNA of the organization. And that's when, after I would say in the early 2000s, Six Sigma started becoming very famous across the globe, and everyone wanted to be a Six Sigma professional. So that is where we talk about the Six Sigma methodology. So Six Sigma as a methodology also focuses on a lot of other aspects that we'll understand. When I say Six Sigma is a measure of quality, is a measure of variation in a process. So first let's understand what is this Sigma here. As you can see in the slide, Sigma is a Greek letter, which means the variation in a process. And if I talk about what is Six Sigma and what does it mean for different people, as you can see in the slides here, Six Sigma is also called a breakthrough methodology. What is the meaning of breakthrough? Now the breakthrough in English is when you have done everything possible and you are not able to find a clue of a problem, and suddenly you get a clue. So that clue is called a breakthrough. That is how Six Sigma as a methodology functions, that when you have done everything possible in your capacity, in your ability, but Six Sigma gives you certain advantage. It has a framework to follow, it has tools to understand. When you use these tools and use that framework, you get the results that you would not have been able to achieve using other methods, or using your own common sense, or using your own ability and knowledge, skill, whatever you had. So Six Sigma is a business philosophy that we talk about. This business philosophy, primarily at the end of the day, it's a problem solving method. But for a different set of people, it remains different. For a lot of people, it's a set of a statistical tool. They understand if we learn these tools, we should be able to solve a problem better. And when you do it over a period of time, which is nothing but you continuously improve the process, it becomes a part of your DNA and culture. So it starts with the training on tools, you understand as a problem solving methodology, and then it becomes part of your DNA of understanding problems. So it becomes a philosophy for you. So it's a set of three things: a philosophy, a set of tools, and at the end of the day, a problem solving methodology. And in this training program and in this methodology, we're talking about a qualitative level of 3.4 defects in a million transaction, which means if you do a million transaction, if you have a million products in front of you, only 3.4 will have issues. Now this is the level of quality we are talking. And achieving this level of quality is not so easy. So we need a disciplined methodology here, a disciplined process here, and that's what Six Sigma provides you. It is not something that you look at a process, you find issue, you improve it. Improving something once is easy. Improving something twice is easy, but improving something over a period of time, over and over again, is not possible. We did not get the bulb with the continuous improvement of candles. It needed innovation. Similarly, in Six Sigma, we not only continuously improve a process, we also try to innovate as much as possible, so we stay relevant with the current world and the technology aspect of it. So that's what we'll talk about, the Six Sigma methodology. And this methodology is pretty plain, simple methodology. It can be deployed in any aspects in the organization. As you can see in the slide, it can be deployed in the design department, in the management, administration, quality, HR, IT, production, sales, every part of the organization. In any industry, Six Sigma can be deployed because it's a simple, plain methodology. It does not require you to understand that particular industry mandatorily. If you because this is a process that can fit anywhere. That's the beauty of Lean Six Sigma methodology. That's why it became very famous, and that's why it became very popular, and that's why it was easy to follow suit and deploy anywhere. This is a concept that will cover in this Lean Six Sigma training foundation program, and we'll try to understand what is this great and popular and easy methodology, and what is this breakthrough and discipline methodology. That's what we'll focus in this entire training program. So this is Shirin Sharma. Thank you everyone.